let's talk about this breaking news happened today. Daredevil, the new Disney Plus series, 18 episodes, is in the midst of being shot. They have completely shut down the production and fired the writers, and they're looking for new writers. This is totally unprecedented. I mean, look, they move forward with a lot of shows. And there's always behind the scenes, some would describe it as chaos, behind the scenes tinkering. That is normal. We're going to change this to this. We're going to move this thing around. This thing that was going to happen in episode 2, we're going to move that to episode 4. Whatever. That's fine. It's organized chaos. But this is unprecedented. Let's take a look at this story from Variety. Here it is. Daredevil Born Again. The Daredevil Born Again writers, Daredevil Born Again releases writers and directors as Marvel plans overhaul of the series. This is from Variety. We'll put a link in the description. We're going to go through this real quick. Daredevil Born Again is undergoing a major creative overhaul, Variety has confirmed. The Disney Plus series from Marvel Studios has recently parted ways with head writers Chris Ord and Matt Corman, and is currently seeking new writers to revamp the show. Ord and Corman will still be credited as executive producers. They basically are buying them out of their contracts. So they're getting paid to not work. Thank you very much. Good job. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. This kind of thing does happen in entertainment. Mm-hmm. And with less than half of the series 18 episode order shot prior to the beginning of the SAG-AFTRA strike. So consider this. Before the strike, they shot less than half. What's less than half? Let's say 4 episodes. Half is 9 episodes. Less than half is anywhere between 4 and 6 episodes were shot. And someone at Marvel, I'm going to guess Kevin Feige, did not like what they saw. Some elements of the already shot material will be used going forward, but Marvel is looking to take the show in a new creative direction. Daredevil is still unable to return to full-scale production, obviously because of the writer's strike, as the actors remain on strike, though they are currently in negotiations with the studio to return to work. The Writers Guild of America recently reached their own new deal with the studios to end their strike, with 99% of the guild's membership voting to approve the deal earlier this week. Final comments here. Charlie Cox will return as Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, in the new series, along with Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Kingpin Fisk. The two previously starred together in the Marvel Netflix Daredevil series from 2015 to 2018, which the Daredevil series on Netflix is great. It's fantastic. Mm-hmm. Marvel Studios' latest television releases include season 2 of Loki, which racked up 10.9 million views in its first 3 days on Disney Plus. They also released Secret Invasion. That was a disappointment, starring Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, blah, blah, blah. Shows like Echo, starring Alaqua Cox, and Agatha Darkhold Diaries, starring Catherine Hahn, are expected to debut in 2024. Alan, what do you think about this news?
I think it's great news.
Why?
Past pattern. Maybe everything leading up to this is the fault of the writers. Maybe we've been complaining about everything leading up to this as being the fault of the writers. I think it's a great. I mean, if you're going to take an iconic story such as Daredevil Born Again, maybe do it right. Maybe get the people. Gary mentioned this earlier, but get the guys who did the Netflix series, hire them. But there's something interesting that comes out of the strike. One of the negotiated terms of the strike regarding streaming, and that's this: if you write a series, and I believe it's 20% of the subscriber base of that streaming platform. So if Daredevil Born Again comes out on Disney Plus, and 20% of the subscribing base of Disney Plus watches it over the first 90 days, the writers get a massive bonus for having a successful show. And that maybe this is the incentive you need to get real writers who are eager to get that big bonus and do this story right. And so I think this is good news. They'll let us down, believe me. They'll find a way to let us down. But from the outset, um, I think what the studios wanted all along from this strike was to clean the slate, and they're certainly doing it with Daredevil Born Again.
Okay, so you think this is a positive. I think it's a positive, but it's also a it really is sort of a buildup of Marvel finally coming to the realization that the pivot that they made may have been a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
That what they have done, I'm going to even go bigger, more macro on this. Disney has turned Star Wars and Marvel into girl brands. It's not resonating, not even with girls. Okay? That is where we are at. We're at the point now where these things are just not resonating with audiences. I've argued this. I brought up this point many times. So I'm sorry if you've heard this before or you've heard me say this before, but women love strong men in the lead roles for Marvel movies. There's a reason a shirtless Chris Evans, a shirtless Chris Hemsworth, a shirtless Mark Ruffalo, a shirtless Robert Downey Jr., a shirtless Clint Barton. I don't know why I went with the character name. I'm just saying that women are attracted to strong, sexy men. And when you emasculate the men and or feminize them or elevate the women over the male characters, look, just go with true equality. Strong men and strong women can coexist. That makes for the best partnership, if you ask me, right? But different abilities, bringing something different to the table. God, I remember back in the day, they did when Thor 2 came out, I went to a Thor marathon, which was basically Thor 1, the Avengers, and then Thor 2.
You went to a double feature. That's what you went to.
No, a triple feature. I saw Thor 1, then the Avengers, and then that led directly into Thor 2. But I got a little lanyard from it, whatever. This is years ago. This is in the early days of Marvel, which was was phase 2 by that point. Anyways, there were as many women in the audience, and who are they going crazy for? I'll tell you who they went crazy for. Tom Hiddleston is Loki. Sexy Loki is a big deal. Sexy Chris Hemsworth is a big deal. Men like to see men do manly things, and women like to see men being manly and sexy. There is that is like, I don't know how that's not so obvious. So,
well, we can have a whole discussion about toxic masculinity and how we need to eliminate that. And that was the whole point of the pivot, was to say, hey, this is not a male-dominated genre anymore. We're bringing the women in.
But
we're bringing the women and the non-binaries and everyone. But my argument
is women like men who are strong. Like the reason that there are female Marvel fans is because of strong men. That's why.
Right. The problem is the studio leadership doesn't realize or doesn't believe that. They've been sold a lie, saying that no, women want strong female characters, and they'll come out in droves. I don't think you would ever call Barbie a strong female character, only in attitude, and they came out in droves for that one. They weren't looking for Barbie to be a superhero to literally tear down Barbie land. They just wanted that cute little character doing female things. It's so. If we look at it from a cultural standpoint, is we've been trying to tear down male and female roles, and we're realizing that that's not resonating with anybody except people who write in Hollywood or who work in Hollywood.
Yeah, I just I don't know. We're going to go to your chat comments and questions in just a second, but ultimately I think that over the course of San Diego Comic-Con, all these I think the Disney Plus Marvel series has diluted the brand. I think that Marvel, I think Marvel can be saved. Interest in Marvel can return. And as others have stated, I'm just echoing what others have said. And because I agree with it, there is some sense of superhero fatigue, but at the same time, if you make a great superhero film that advances the genre, I think audiences will show up. I think they will 100% show up.
Yeah.
So,
the problem is they've built so much bad blood that, let's say you made the perfect, great superhero movie. There's a lot of work you're going to have to do today to get people to watch it. When in the middle of phases 1, 2, and 3, people just came out. It was a superhero movie. People came out. They wanted to see the next thing because they knew the quality of that next thing was going to be good. But now that we have a string of bad movies, you've got to somehow convince people that no, we did it right this time. I'd love to say Loki season 2 was that, but it's not. There's going to have to be convincing to tell people, all right, we created a semi-good show.